Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Imagine if you live in a place where the law dictates almost everything that you do. Imagine living in a country where you have a specific haircut to follow. You're not allowed to go outside the country. You cannot live in a national capital without permission from government. You cannot even watch foreign movies, nor you cannot make international call. And there is power cut every night. Is it easy to live in such a country in this modern generation? Sounds tough enough, huh? There's only one country in this world like that. That is North Korea. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about North Korea and try to answer this question. Will Russia be the next North Korea? We will discuss this in detail. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and like this video. Stay tuned till the end. Firstly, we will have a look at election. Did you know that in North Korea you have only one candidate to vote? In every district, only one candidate name will be put in the ballot. No matter what you think, or no matter whether you like it or not, you still have to vote only for one candidate. You have no option at all. Abstaining or voting no would be a dangerous act of treason, given that votings take place in booths that do not provide any secrecy at all, and dissenting votes must be posted into a separate ballot box. Voting is mandatory in North Korea. You have to register to be able to be a voter, and if your name is not on the list, you will be investigated. For that reason, even a defector China has to go back to North Korea to vote. In case you vote no or you did not vote at all, you and your family will be in trouble. For that reason, there's a joke saying, nobody dies on election day in North Korea. Recently, Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, signed a new law that will allow him to stay as a president until 2036, approximately, maybe by the time he'll be around 83 years old. Normally in Russia, the election will be held every 6 years. No candidate deserves the right to stay in a position for more than 2 terms running, which is 12 years. But with the new law that Putin signed, he will be allowed to remain the president till 2036. What do you think about this? Putin was first elected as the president in the year 2000 and was elected in 2004, then 2012 and also in 2018. His current term ends in 2024, but with the new amendments, he will be allowed to stay in office for another 12 years rather than taking another 6 years break. With the first point that I've just looked at, I'll leave it to you. Do you really think that Russia could become the next North Korea? To continue this video, let's have a look at what we call the global internet. Did you know that the world is linked together with the undersea cables? Most of what you see the internet, including possibly this video, may travel to you from underwater. In fact, 99% of all international data is transferred through a labyrinth of cables stretching across the floor of the world's ocean. Internet has been the greatest invention ever, there's no doubt about that. However, in North Korea, internet access is not generally available. Only some high-level officials are allowed to access the global internet. In most universities, a small number of strictly monitored computers are provided. Other citizens may get access only to the country's national internet called Kwamyong. Foreigners can access the internet using the 3G phone network. However, with the IT industry that has been growing, now internet access is starting to increase within North Korea. Similarly, Russia has been trying for years to limit the internet access for its people. For years, officials stiffened a censorship campaign at home and tried to move toward what is known as sovereign internet. According to new documents released by the Russian Ministry of Digital Development, some government bodies have suggested that the Russian government has probably begun planning to disconnect itself from the global internet. As you know, Mr. Putin has waged war on Ukraine. A digital barricade went up between Russia and the world. Both Russian authorities and multinational internet companies built the wall with a breathtaking speed. The documents reportedly reveal that Russian government is attempting to eliminate reliance on any Western internet services, potentially isolating Russia from the rest of the global internet. A move that would further cripple Russia's economy and put an end to the promise that a free and open internet could act as a check on authoritarian leaders such as Vladimir Putin. TikTok, Netflix are suspending the service in the country. Facebook has been blocked. Twitter has been partly blocked, and YouTube's future is really in doubt now. Other companies like Apple, Samsung, Microsoft, Oracle, Cisco, and others have pulled back or withdrawn entirely from Russia. Imagine if you are used to free media. Imagine if you're used to global content from different parts of the world, and suddenly you are being told they have been blocked and you have no right to access them at all, even using a VPN. How would you feel? This is going to feel like a return to the 1980s for people who live in that era, because suddenly information is back in the hands of the state, said Al Tucker, the director of NetBlocks. So far, we have completed 2 points. We will be looking at the next 2 points to see whether we are getting an answer that we have asked before about Russia. Will Russia be the next North Korea? The next point we'll be looking at is about protests and public demonstration. The human rights records of North Korea is often considered to be the worst in the world. Western human rights groups such as Amnesty International and nations like the US have asserted that in practice there's no right to free speech at all in North Korea. This right are only given to the media providers that are deemed legal, and these are operated by the government of North Korea itself. Laws regarding freedom of speech and expression in North Korea are all only for a show, because anything that goes against its ruler is a crime, it's an offense. Is this what sounds similar to Russia? It's the end of the road for those seeking exercise the right to protest in Russia. Under Russian law, large demonstration requires protesters to apply for a permit, which has to be submitted no more than 15 but no less than 10 days before the event. Heavy fines and in some cases even prison time can be imposed on those who protest without permit. Since Putin's invasion of Ukraine, mass anti-war protest actions has been erupted in more than 50 cities in Russia. Footage of protesters shows almost immediate arrests by Russia's anti-riot police. So far, around 12,000 people have been detained since the invasion began. According to protest monitoring group, with the numbers increasing daily, Russia's investigative committee warned that participation in any anti-war protest was illegal. It's also said that offenses could be entered on participants' criminal record, which would leave a mark on the person's future. In summary, we can say, peaceful or not, any form of public outcry, be it a meeting, a protest, or just a gathering, needs to be authorized. Without the proper permission to hold such an event, it's considered legal to be a part of it. Naturally, very few of these protests will receive such permission, since more often than not, they are aimed against the government. Moreover, notifying the authorities for the upcoming meeting or event can actually undermine the event altogether. So most protests are illegal, and any participant can be taken away and arrested, especially the leaders. Finally, we'll have a look at the last point. This is what I call control media or censored media. A study in 2017 found out that 98% of the household had a television set in North Korea. But did you know there are only 4 TV channels in North Korea? It may surprise you, but that's the truth. As of August 16, 2016, there are 4 television channels in North Korea, and all are state-owned and usually last from daytime to prime time. The mass media in North Korea is amongst the most strictly controlled in the world. The constitution normally provides for freedom of speech in the press. In practice, however, the press is tightly controlled by the state. The government allowed speech that supported and the ruling Workers' Party of Korea. Censorship in North Korea ranks among some of the most extreme in the world, with the government able to take strict control over communications. All the media outlets are owned and controlled by the government of North Korea. As such, all media in North Korea get the news from the Korean Central News Agency. Recently, Putin has signed a new law called Fake News Law. In simple terms, the law states that if anyone is trying to spread fake news about Russian government or its army, about invasion of Ukraine, or how to use the armed forces, which discrediting the armed forces or the government for the benefit and protection of its people, will be considered illegal or it's against the law. This comes with up to 15 years in prison. This means that there'll be no free media anymore because all the news that media has to deliver, they have to get the approval of the government after all the news has been censored. This also means that Russian people cannot speak against the government actions nor its military operations anymore. Otherwise, you'll be considered a criminal with up to 15 years in jail. Even posting on social media, like reposting material falls under the law against public calls for extremism and for stirring feelings of hatred among the public, a crime very easily committed when not careful on social media, resulting in very real prison sentences up to 15 days. The moral story: reserve social media pages for your holiday snaps and keep audience for yourself if you don't want to be arrested. That's all for today. With all these 4 points, I hope you are getting some points, but I'll leave the answer to you. Do you think that Russia will become the next North Korea? That's all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.